Namaste, all you mystical minds. Welcome back for another video. This is the 12 Ascendants and Moon Signs video for October. New Moon, October 6th, Australian Eastern Standard Time. We are sitting, basking in the energy of the new moon right now. It's only just happened in the last 2 hours. So a couple of days before, a couple of days after, we're always working with this new moon energy. So let's jump in. My name is Chelsea Sonka. I'm a Vedic astrologer and I'm very excited to be taking you through this. So as we start, we've got Virgo. For you guys, this is happening in your first house of the self, the body. Themes of new creations, new healing, waking up to themes around yourself, different ways that you can heal yourself, different manifestations that you can be working with, creations that you as a being, your ego may be wanting to call in at this time. Personal wake-ups that you'll find that you'll be going through. For Libra ascendants and moon signs, this is happening for you in your 12th house. Themes around letting go and awakening. So when we think about the 12th house, it can also be loss of sleep as well. Libra as being this energy of coming back into balance, that we might be letting go of things, and you might find that your balance is a little bit out of whack as we are, creating space for new creations to come through, new ways of healing, so that we can ultimately have an awakening by waking up. For Scorpio ascendants and moon signs, this is happening for you in your 11th house of friends, humanity, and gains. So you'll definitely see this going on out in the world when we talk about this combust Mars energy that's going on. Be aware of the communication Mercury retrograde too that you might be having with the outside world, humanity, and potentially your friends as well, because you might find that there are polarizing opinions or conversations going on. Try to come back into the heart and have an open conversation, but definitely this is not necessarily a supportive time with Mercury retrograde, so confusions and trouble in communication, and combust Mars, where emotions and feelings with the moon there too, we might not be able to plant the seeds that we want at this time in those types of conversations. So just being mindful that what do you really want to be planting as we focus on new creations in our friendships. Maybe you might want to have a new friendship contract that you say, okay, my values and my beliefs have changed. Let's have a chat about it, and be comfortable with talking about this with the people that you care about in your life, and even potentially the way that you achieve gains in your life. Maybe you want to be looking at a different way, because I know a lot of people have walked away from their jobs recently, and you might be looking for different ways, and you can get really creative at this time so that you can have a new sort of a wake up around to the way that you achieve and receive things in your life. For Sagittarius ascendants and moon signs, this is happening for you in your 10th house. So for you guys, this is about your vocation, the way that you work out in the world. It's not home, it's the opposite. It's out in the world. It's also government themes too. So you'll find that where we're maybe creating new things in our job. You might be wanting to create something totally different. You might be having combustible conversations with people at work around new themes that you want to bring in, or awakening to new things that you want to be doing in your job. Maybe you're just had enough. So use your guru sense of that Jupiter energy so that you can really push forward at this time. And I feel like it's kind of like a sitting back energy until Jupiter goes retrograde, goes direct again. But definitely mindful of conversations with bosses or colleagues that you might be having, and aware of what's going on in the government too, because you'll notice how these types of themes will be affecting you. For Capricorn ascendants and moon signs, this is happening for you in your 9th house of teachers and higher learning. So mindful of the fact of, conversations that could come out. You might find that that practical Capricorn energy again, because we're kind of contemplating our beliefs with these retrogrades going on. We might find that we're having disagreements with our teachers, or the way that our studies are being presented to us here, opportunities for miscommunication, but there's space to create a new way of moving forward. So is there a different way that you want to be learning that you can birth in by setting new intentions of this new moon here? And new ways of healing. Think about, in regards to the way that you study or the way that you're learning, can you create a more holistic, supportive space that you can create this new sort of path forward that's going to be really supportive and nourishing for you come the full moon, so that you can really move into that supportive space. For Aquarius ascendants and moon signs, this is happening for you in your 8th house of fears and hidden things. So, Aquarius, immediately I think of the scientist and humanity. So we've got a lot of fears coming out around, the science that's coming out here, but we definitely have new scientific discoveries, new scientific ways of healing that can come through here. And I really do feel that this is going to help us wake up to shift onto this new world that we're all moving into, because even though you can see the polarization that's happening in the world, if you remove the judgment from it, that whatever side or dimension, reality that you want to be experiencing, regardless of, you forget about everybody else, what reality do you want to be living in? Really take stock of your fears at the moment. What is it that you're really afraid of? Because if you dive into the yogas, you can look at the 5 kleshas, the 5 forms of human suffering, and it's this attachment, which is really Raja. This energy, the clutching hand, Hasta, is that what are you holding on to? What are you afraid of losing? What are you holding on to because you're afraid of being uncomfortable, basically, or gives you too much comfort that you don't think that you would be able to survive without, so that you're avoiding creating new things or new healings so that you can have a wake-up call here. For Pisces ascendants and moon signs, this is happening for you in your 7th house of relationships, others and business partners. So when we think about Pisces, it's very dreamy, and we're moving into that 12th house energy when we think about the traditional placements of the zodiac. So here we're talking about how can we create new pathways forward in our relationships. Maybe we need to be having conversations with our partners, because we think about this axis of Pisces being almost too dreamy and Virgo being almost too detail orientated, where we're really sort of grounding into that at the time. You might feel like you want to escape from it, but we really need to spend some time working on the relationships in our life and say, okay, where can we apply this practical nature into relationships? Maybe we need to set new ground rules so that we can have a more joyous path forward, so that you can manifest the type of relationships in your life or business partnerships that you really want to be having, because it doesn't have to look the way that it has previously. If it's not working for you, what would that really look like if you were to give yourself the time to kind of map it out? Because when you've got a clear intention and an elevated emotion, it's very easy to manifest when you just feel it as if it's already yours. So we're working here with creating a new energy, a new healing in your relationships. For Aries ascendants and moon signs, this is happening for you in your 6th house. So, for Aries here, this is enemies, service, health, the traditional placement of Virgo. So we're dealing with new ways of serving others, new ways of healing. So you might be working on your health at this time. I know for myself personally, I'm an Aries ascendant, so I've got different healing modalities that have come through this week. A friend of mine recommended a batch flower remedy that is working amazingly, and I'm so incredibly grateful, because I'm not really keen on taking antibiotics, and I just a little 2 cents that just kind of helps with this particular energy. And just amazing to see how this new, piece of information was incredibly helpful for me this week, working through that. being aware of, you know, enemies and going back and reviewing who do you consider an enemy, and can you create a new energy around that where you can heal those relationships, maybe not even by talking to the person, because I don't believe that you have to do that, so that you can have a wake up and work through this, because I really do believe that Mars combustion, it's not really about necessarily what's going on outside of us, it's how can we use that energy to heal what's going on within. So this action and anger, turn it into passion as opposed to anger, but honor anger if it's bubbling up to the surface, because it's there for a reason. Anger shouldn't be judged. It's definitely an energy that I think so many people are afraid to work with. For Taurus ascendants and moon signs, this is happening for you guys in your 5th house, children, procreation, creativity, education. So you might be looking at new ways of, you know, healings around your kids, you know, different things that you can be doing with your children, different ways you can be creating out in the world. And like I said, this is all about new creations, new ways of being coming out. It's very much in that energy space of the 5th house, where we're focusing on, you know, waking up to how can we do something different. So for example, if you've got this Mars combustion energy coming out in where you're having these bust ups or communication errors with your kids, for example, yeah, there's a great book by a woman named Louise Harvey Zara. She runs a website called Happy Child, Happy Home. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And will give practical solutions. If you check out the website, she's got a couple of different books that she's written where you can, you know, change the activity, do all these different things as opposed to just blowing up at your kids, or your creations and getting frustrated that it's not coming to completion. So you can even use these practical tools for yourself. And I just find it incredibly helpful because it just gives you practical strategies that you can use in your home, even with your spouse. You know, it works really, really well. And especially when you can be kind to yourself and use it in those areas too. For Gemini ascendants and moon signs, this is happening for you in your 4th house of the home, mother, and happiness. So if you're not happy and you're combusting, you're not happy with your home, you're having issues with your mama, communication errors, take a step back, send some love to yourself, and think about, you know, what do you want to be creating? What kind of healing needs to go into these relationships? So if you're having issues with your mama, have a think about, you know, what's her love language, and if you want to repair and build something completely new, because this really feels like the Tower card. We're like knocking it over so we can build something new. My son turns 2 on the 8th, and I think about how he's very, very good at knocking down the block towers. So we're just clearing it out so that you can create a brand new thing and have a wake-up call, because whatever's happening in your life, if a relationship with your mother or, you know, situations within the home, it's there for learning. And if you're feeling the resistance, you might not be fully accepting or feeling the feelings that are happening within yourself, honoring if you're feeling anger arising, but also that there's still things to be learned if you're judging it, because you're missing something that's trying to come through. But those awakenings are going to be happening around here. So you might need to do some shifting around your home, some feng shui, some saging. I know that always helps with my house if you really feel like some energy's gunked up and you want to shift it around. For Cancer ascendants and moon signs, this is happening for you in your 3rd house. And this is all about communication and siblings. So mindful of, you know, combustion that can happen in conversations with your siblings, communication in general, working with your hands too. And I mean, this is totally appropriate because this is very Virgo energy. That what kind of new things do you want to be working in your communication? Because if you're working in speaking, teaching, these kind of writing themes, you might want to completely scrap something and move in a new direction in the way that you are, you know, let go of the environment a little bit more and have more fluidity, where you can have some healing intelligence come through in the way that you're creating. Try something different. And, you know, before I do these videos, I always connect in and say, use me as a vessel to the cosmic consciousness and allow it just to flow through. And I really do believe that there is, we have no idea what the higher self and cosmic consciousness knows, but I know it's a hell of a lot more than I do. So when you just release it and let go, you ultimately have a wake up, and you will be shocked about what will come through your mouth, because you'll go, oh, that I didn't plan that. And you just let it flow through you. For Leo ascendants and moon signs, this is happening for you in your second house, and this is about family and wealth and material assets. So we're talking about, maybe new themes that need to come out through your family. Do you need to have conversations that can allow practical healing? You might want to do some yoga or some meditation with your family if they're open to it. Mindful of communication, misunderstandings here. Slow down if you're finding that people are getting critical or yourself impatient, so that we can allow the Maya, the illusions, and the avidya, ignorance, to be dispelled, so that we can have some sort of this powerful healing that's trying to come through here. And do your best not to try and push your own agendas onto other people. If you can go into observation mode and just love others and recognize that we are all one, even if you might feel like a total alien in the space, that this is the time to be in a loving space. Because like I shared in the main video, if you go and check it out if you haven't watched it already, the ability to raise your vibration right now is so incredibly strong that you can affect other people in your surroundings. It's incredibly powerful. So that's the reading for this month. I send you lots of love and light and blessings from me here in Australia. Wherever you are in the world, we are going through a transformative and mystical time, and really what you choose to intend upon, especially with the new moon, because it's a time of planting seeds, is big things are about to happen. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but we really have to push through that eye of the needle so that we can come out the other side. And every time that the tarot, the Tower card comes down, or I've had it happen in my own life, great, beautiful, new green pastures have come from the other side of it. But we're all going through it together, and you're not alone. So reach out if you need to. You can head to my website, chelseasongcard.com, and you can contact me and we can have a chat if you need some support at this time. Other than that, take care of yourself. Lots of love, and namaste.